Welcome to the AFC East Shakedown on the Mafia Sports Report channel. I am Tommy. Joining me is Anthony from Jets Life Podcast and Captain D. What is going on, fellas? Welcome to week 17 of the AFC East Shakedown. Oh, man, I'll tell you one team that got their ass whooped today. That's part of the AFC East, and that is the Patriots, losing 40-7. Oh,
beautiful.
Yikes.
I hope Zach enjoyed it.
Yeah, and Zach could not make it today because I think Zach went to the game, and what a bad game for him to attend. Boy, oh boy. It was horrible. By the way, the Christmas games, the Christmas Day games were terrible. Mm-hmm. And I don't blame the NFL because they look like they could be potentially good games, right? I thought the Steelers were going to give the Chiefs a little bit more of a fight, and they did for the first half, but
a little bit.
The offense was terrible for the Steelers, and eventually the defense cracked, and that's a wrap. But the Texans, oh man, they're terrible. 2 points.
2 points.
Can you imagine guys paying? And trust me, those tickets were probably expensive on Christmas.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right? You're on Christmas. You're taking your time away from your family to attend a game, and your team just sucks ass like that, dude. I would be so mad, dude. But let's get to some of the comments before we move on. What's up, Buffalo Snowy? By the way, this is a guy. He's from the UK, nice. And he came from the Grassi raid, I believe. So he's one of the people that came over. So that's pretty cool, man. You cannot write it to it injured again. I know. We're going to get to that. Beth, what is up, Beth? Glad you are here today. Josh Allen MVP. We'll see, man. If not, I gotta be honest, man. That trophy's garbage. And throw it away because he deserves it this year. Stop with the nonsense. Listen, Lamar's playing great, no doubt, but come on, man. Let's be real. You know, Josh Allen. With no Josh Allen, this team's like a 3 or 4 win team. Those are facts, bro. Roy, Patriots got destroyed by the Chargers, and the Bills can only manage to beat them by 3. I know we're gonna get to that. That was a bad performance, but. Once again, though, division games are tricky sometimes. They are tricky, and I'll talk about that game when we get to that. What? Tua's injured again? Yeah, and Captain D's going to get to that because I didn't even know until Captain D told me. So crazy, man. But anyways, let's get to last week's game. Let's start with. We'll start with the Jets game. Why not, Anthony? Let's get the pain over with for Anthony. Rams beat the Jets 19-9. It was a close game for a little while. But the Jets do fall to 4-11. Anthony, what's going on, brother?
I don't know, but the Jets continue to lose games in odd fashion. First team, and I think it was something like 40-something years. I forget the exact timeline to lose a game without having a single punt. So it's just the nature of what the Jets do. I mean, with respect to them, they were kind of playing that game of fourth and whatever. We don't give a crap. We're going to go for it. They had a lot of fourth and manageable situations, even backed up in their own territory. They took advantage of those opportunities to try and go for it and extend drives. A lot of drives leading to inside the red zone, and then again fourth down, instead of kicking the field goal, taking the points, opted to go for it. We had to play for, and in a lot of those opportunities, obviously they didn't make it because they only scored 9 points. a game where I kind of expected the Jets defense to struggle, especially with Sean McVay, offensive coordinator. They actually managed to keep the score within range. And again, it's been just an issue with the Jets all season long. Complementary football has not been there. This is a rare occurrence of the Jets defense playing adequate compared to what I would expect them to do. And the offense doesn't score enough points. Aaron Rodgers, in a couple of sequences, going for his 500 touchdown. At one point, had Garrett Wilson wide open on a mesh route type of thing, and he opts to go for Devontae Adams in the corner of the end zone, covered tightly, almost like he was trying to force that 500 touchdown to go to Devontae Adams. I understand that situation there, but you got to get the points where they're there. Garrett Wilson would have been walking into the end zone if you just hit him across the middle, but just didn't work out. And it's just, I don't know, it's alarming. It's kind of concerning. I mean, I'm not, crying over losses at this point. Obviously, we all understand what the season's at. I do respect them trying to just go for it and win games. I remember years back, Todd Bowles being the coach late in the games when the games were over. He was just fourth and whatever punting. I'd like to see him going for it, fighting a little bit, trying to get the team to develop some sort of identity, although it's so late in the year. But again, it's just another one of those weeks, just underperforming in one area of the field, and in this case, with the offense not scoring enough points.
All right. Well, I think what's on everyone's mind, Anthony, like the biggest question is how is Fireman Ed handling this?
I did.
Oh my goodness!
I did notice he was out there, and I guess this last game, also, I guess 2 weeks in a row, not on the jumbotron. Being a concern of his.
No.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. It's like 1 week he's there and he's on the jumbotron. Next week he's there and then he's not on the jumbotron. Whatever. I mean, they need to do better. He's been a long time Jet fan. He's been kind of the spokesperson of the JETS chant for many, many years. I don't know if they're trying to wean him out, try and go with a younger crowd, or what they're trying to do over there. But I mean, respect your long-term fans, especially if New York City firemen. Respect those guys, man. You got to do it.
What about construction worker Anthony? We bring a new guy, a younger guy.
They have a few guys that they bring up to every game. They do it with them. No construction worker guy though. No.
Oh man! Damn it! All right. Well, Captain D, what do you think about these damn Jets losing to the Rams? I mean, it was a close game, but what do you think? What do you feel?
It was a close game. First of all, I want to say it's been a while since I've been on, so happy holidays, Merry Christmas to Tommy, Anthony, everybody on the panel.
Thank you.
Curtis, unfortunately, is not on the show, and Zach, I guess, is at the game watching his team. His Patriots get pummeled right now.
Oh,
sorry, Zach, not sorry. But and also a shout out, one of my favorite Dolphins writers, Alan Poupart. He writes for All Dolphins at SI. Check out his content, Dolphins fans, if you want. It's free. It's free, by the way. There's no paywall on there. Unfortunately, he just lost his parents. Shout out to another, from one Canadian going out to another. My condolences. Crazy story. His parents were married 60-something years. He lost his wife. 6 days later, he loses his dad. Isn't that crazy? Love can be beautiful. So shout out to Alan and his family. That's tough. But going back to the game here, man, I'm going to rewind a little bit because I've been gone for so long. But when the Dolphins played the Jets, I was signing a card. My girlfriend looked over to me and she was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, I'm getting a gift card. I'm looking at the address. I'm sending this gift to the Jets. It's I have it on my phone right here. It's Florham Park, New Jersey. Florham Park, New Jersey. And I was sending them this gift because they had given us, they gifted me a sense of hope a couple of weeks ago. But lo and behold, they came back to bite them in the ass again. And I couldn't believe what I was watching when they played the Dolphins at home, because I talked to Tommy about this a couple of weeks ago and I was like, FYI, I have the Jets beating us by a field goal. And that almost came to fruition until they fucked up at the end and it all fell to shambles. So
poor clock management.
Yeah, exactly. There was a lot of bad management there. I don't understand what's going on. So does this surprise me? No. The way how this game ended up, it just seems the inability to finish games is just constantly there. I don't know what's going on with this Jets franchise. I had a lot more upside for them this year. Disappointing.
Yeah. Real quick, Buffalo Snowy wants to know, is Adams out tomorrow? Huh?
I looked at the injury report. He was a full participant, or limited participant, I mean, on Friday. So I would assume he'd play. He's listed as questionable. We'll see how it goes. But if you ask me today, I think he's going.
All right. Yeah, so my thoughts were just you guys hung in there for a while. I thought the Rams offense has been a little shaky since tearing us up. But yeah, man. Aaron Rodgers, it's weird. When you look at his stats, you're like, oh, not a bad game. But when you look at him play, though, I think your eyes don't lie, right? Like he has a tough time getting out of way of pressure now. Like that's just not what he once was, moving around in the pocket. I feel like he holds the ball a little bit longer than he used to. And that's his age. And it's the truth. Like, age has caught up to Aaron Rodgers. He doesn't want to admit it. He's in a beef, by the way, with Ryan Clark. He has his own side beef going on there. That's kind of funny. But either way, I still am going to stick with, I don't think he's back next year. I said that from the start of the season. I'm going to hold that. I think he's just, I don't know, something about him, man. I would not want him back in the building. I got to be honest with you. I think he's a distraction more than anything. I think you just, no, I get it. I'm going on my report. I'm doing my, I don't care what anyone else says. Like, I'm just going by what I feel. And I feel like the best thing for the Jets is you cut your ties with them. It is what it is. You're going to have to eat some money, but you get that out of the locker room and you start fresh. You don't have to listen. And then if Devontae Adams don't want to stick around or whatever, then fucking get rid of him too. You know what I mean? You got a young guy in Garrett Wilson. You could build around. You're going to have good draft picks. Like, move on, start fresh. You're going to get a new coach, a new GM. Like, you don't need to bring that dude back. In my opinion, that's what I would do. But hey, man, I don't know. Your Jets do some funky shit, bro. So anyways, let's move on to the next game. That is the Dolphins beating the 49ers. I had a feeling you guys were going to win, Captain D. But you did. And I think Curtis picked the Niners initially, and then he went back to the Dolphins. He was up and down with it. I just had a feeling at home, the Niners were banged up, that you guys would get the job done. And you did. So talk about that game.
Well, the Niners are not banged up. They are decimated as far as injuries. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. They are just completely no Christian McCaffrey. They're missing so many pieces on the defensive side. And even then, they still managed to keep this game respectable towards the end. That last touchdown by Devon Achane was kind of he didn't have to run that one in. But what did this show watching this game is that the Dolphins are they still haven't figured it out. You know, this game could have gone either way. I feel like if the 49ers had all their weapons there, this game would have been an easy win for the 49ers.
Yeah. I agree with. If they have all their weapons, all their pieces together, I don't know if they whoop you, but I think I would definitely see them winning against Miami. Anthony, what do you feel about that game?
Yeah, I personally, I thought the Dolphins were going to win this game. I don't know what had me kind of leaning that way in this. I mean, obviously the 49ers being banged up and just being riddled by injuries, a lot to do with it. But the little intuition on my shoulder was pick Dolphins this game. I think it's going to be the way to go. And Dolphins won this game. It's like they're kind of, if Curtis were here, he'd be ranting about the situation. It's kind of presenting itself. It's the same thing he's kind of envisioned the past few weeks. It's like they're doing just enough potentially to leave the door open on Greer and McDaniel's coming back, and whether or not you want one or both gone. It just seems like they're just doing that little bit of enough to give these guys another year. And I mean, I think for Dolphin fans, I mean, I think you could see it. The decision making on this roster is not, what you would like for a team that's, has as much money invested into a quarterback, into the defense backs, into the receivers. They just built it the wrong way, and when you have a situation like they're kind of foreseeing now, where they might give these guys an extra chance, you have that situation where these guys are going to go all out and do whatever possible to, kind of extend that as much as possible. Could they, potentially put you guys in a cap hell situation? I mean, that's obviously a conversation for the offseason, but I don't know. It's kind of an alarming situation. Keep these guys around if you're Dolphins fans. I mean, Captain D, what's your kind of thoughts on these guys? I mean, you think
it's very confusing right now. I mean, to start the game, number one, if anybody has been following it, really the Dolphins, very, in depth, is that obviously, that we have the offensive line issues, especially at the guard position. Kendall Lamb is doing a little bit of a better job with the absence of Austin Jackson at right tackle, but the right guard position with Liam Eichenberg, I'm sure you've heard Curtis mention that name quite a bit. Isaiah Wynn was finally healthy. You might have heard me mention that name a couple weeks ago, and they were rotating them in and out, and lo and behold, our running game looked a little bit better. But with that being said, after the game, we have players making, like Javon Holland, he's going to be a decision at the end of the season, and he's coming out saying that that's the hardest he's played in a long time. I mean, some of these comments are a little concerning, especially what former players and coaches have mentioned about the Dolphins. It just seems like there's got to be a culture change somehow. That being said, the Dolphins released footage of Stephen Ross handing Mike McDaniel a game ball for winning, I guess, beating Kyle Shanahan. I'm assuming. I don't know. I don't understand why we're giving out.
That's probably why.
It's probably why. But I mean, what does that tell you? What does that make as a statement? And the Dolphins released that footage, so I don't know if that means that McDaniel is safe going in. I guess we're about to find out, depending on these last two games. But maybe it's Chris Grier. I mean, I think it should start with Chris Grier. We're going to find out.
You remember when the Bills, we beat the Lions years ago, and we paraded Jim Shorts around on our players' shoulders? He was a defensive coordinator. He wasn't even a coach. Whoa. Like, we won the Super Bowl with this guy. It was so stupid.
Yeah.
That was so petty. Anyways, yeah, listen, man, I think the Dolphins are just giving their fans false hope yet again. They're going to again. They're going to add a couple of pieces in the draft, and they're going to give false hope. It's going to be the same end results. You got it. Listen, Grier has to go, and I think your head coach has to go. If you get rid of Grier, you have to get rid of your head coach. I think just like the Jets did, you have to eventually keep doing it until you get it right. And I think your problem is the owner. Fuck Grier. It's the owner. The owner's making poor decisions. You have to make the right decision eventually, move on. Greer's been there way too long for a team that hasn't done anything. You haven't won a playoff game in like 20 years. Like, unacceptable. I'm not saying he's been there 20 years, but he's been there a long time. It's time for him to hit the road, and he's not. I don't know what is going on with your owner and him, but it's odd. Got a lot of money invested in a lot of players. You have a lot of decisions to make in the offseason. Tua, once again, and we're going to talk about this when we talk about this week's game, but he's ruled out, and in a very important game. I mean, if the Dolphins really are trying to make the playoffs, I don't even. Where did that come from, real quick? Tua getting, was that from the game or practice or?
I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure, to be honest with you.
Guy's made out of glass, bro. I don't get it, and that's why. Remember when we went back in the start of the season? I'm like, I like Tua. I'm not crazy about him. I think he's a good quarterback. Like, he has like his positive stuff on him, right? Like good accuracy, decent arm. Like he's not a terrible quarterback. But my biggest concern was, if you pay him that money, boy, can he last? Can he be available every game, or at least close to it, during that time frame of how long you guys gave him the contract for. And that was the reason I would be like, if I'm the GM, like, is it worth it, right? Like giving him all that. And I don't know, Cap D. I still say no. I think I would have gave him a couple-year deal, maybe 3, something smaller, and maybe go to the draft. I don't know, man. I know it's tough to find a quarterback, and I think that's the fear factor. And when you have one that's playing good, you're like, fuck it. And I think that's what the Giants did. They fucked up with Daniel Jones. You know what I mean? That's what the Jaguars did. And I don't think that's going to work out for Trevor Lawrence, in my opinion, either. Or like some of these quarterbacks are just not going to work out. And I think that's because teams are like, they don't want to go through the whole process again of trying to find a quarterback. They're just like, fuck it. You know what I mean? I think we can manage with them. And I think the 49ers are going to fuck up with Purdy too. I think I would not give him because he's gonna get paid, and I think that's a big mistake. But what do you feel about Tua moving forward? Because man, like he's just I don't know.
I think that he's shown that he's not the guy. You know, I think that he has a lot of talent. He has a lot of good intangibles. But I think even Houston, the Houston game on the road, we were looking for something. You're looking for your quarterback to make those plays to stand out. To use like, okay, that's the guy. But I think the problem with these franchises is that these GMs and the higher brass that are making these decisions is that when you make that decision, it's hard to admit that you're wrong, and you've invested this time and this money into a player to lead your franchise, and then when it's not working out, and you're like, oh shit, you know what I mean? This is not working, and the Dolphins made that big decision this offseason,
Yeah,
and obviously it's not panning out.
Buffalo Snowy says he tweaked his hip last week, I guess during the game, and then in practice it got worse. So. There's your answer about Tua. So,
well, I'll just add on to this also. If these injury reports, it very well could be that he tweaked his hip. But if we're gonna sit here and not say that the Miami Dolphins are not watching what's going on right now and what makes sense going forward, I mean, we all see we're mathematically.
What do you need right now? So the Chargers won today, right? Let me look at the.
I believe we needed Denver to lose 2. I believe the Chargers to lose 1.
I think Denver will lose today to the Bengals. They're in Cincinnati. I know Cincinnati's defense is pretty shitty, but I still think Cincinnati's offense is high powered. They're at home. I think it'll be a high scoring game, but I think Bengals will win today. But the Chargers winning today, doesn't that hurt you? So now it's down to what one spot, right? Yeah, they did today. That's what I'm saying. So it's down to one spot, right? So it's either going to be Denver. Right now, the closest is Denver, Colts, and Miami, right? And the Bengals. Sorry. So I don't think Denver wins today. So that would take them to 9-7. That's just my opinion. The Colts are playing. Who do the Colts play today?
I saw this morning that Richardson might not play.
Yeah, but still, is that really? You know what I mean? Flacco.
The Giants.
It's a Giant. They're terrible. There's no way. There's no way they lose against Giants. So they will go to 8-8, and Broncos 9-7. And if you guys don't have Tua today, it's a toss-up. I still think you probably have a slight advantage because Cleveland is so bad, but you are in Cleveland. If you lose today, obviously it's over, right? But it says win tiebreak over Cincy based on percentage of the conference game. Indy wins tiebreak over Cincy and Miami win percentage in conference games. So right now, Indy has that over the conference game. So I think if you win and the Colts win, I think that's it, right? Or no? Or you still have an opportunity, I think, in the last week. I think you may still have an opportunity last week. I have to look. Who does Indy play? Let me see here. Indy plays week 19. Let's see here. Because I'm just curious how that is. They play New England, bro. No. They don't play New England. I'm sorry. They play Jacksonville. Even worse. So the chances is slim, bro. And they're home against.
Division game.
Yeah, but no Lawrence. They're home. The chances are slim, bro. So I would say right now, bro, the chances are very, very slim for the Dolphins. However, you still never know, and you still should have your starting quarterback out there. It sucks. That hurts you guys. And then you play the Jets, who it's a division game, and your final week, they have nothing to lose. And they're probably going to try to play spoiler anyway. So wild, man. Anyways, yeah, man. So look, Tua 22 of 34, 215, touchdown. He was okay, average in that game. Purdy threw it 40 times, 313, 2 touchdowns. A-Chain's a story for you guys this season, I think. I think he has extended. If he could just stay healthy for a full season, that's his only knock on him.
That's his only knock.
But I think he's a hell of a player. You guys found one there, but what's going on with Hill? Did Hill have a good game? Let me see.
He had one touchdown, but not
29 yards, unacceptable.
Yep.
For me, a guy that was voted the number one player in the NFL by his peers.
Player in the NFL.
Yeah, no, bro. Even with Tua back, he hasn't been too impressive. I think Waddle got hurt, right, or didn't play in that game or something like that. Okay. Jonnu Smith has been a good pickup for you guys. So that was someone that I feel like has been a good pickup. So now, did you sign him for a multi-year deal, or was it just a 1-year contract?
I think it was 2 years, I believe. I could be
okay.
wrong,
Okay.
It was 2 years, yeah.
So at least you got him locked up for 1 more year. It's curious if you guys want to, work that give him an extension since next year's his last. Anyways, yeah, let's move on to the Bills and the Patriots. Close game. Look, man, Dolphins aren't out yet, Spears. Listen, we went live after. We always do our post game, and I always keep it real. We always keep it real, me and Mikey. Win or lose, it don't matter. I'm going to give you my honest opinion. And I was disappointed. Obviously, we should have blown those guys out at home. But the next day, I hear Josh Allen. He does this, when I hear the post game, and I said in the post game, I'm like, man, the offense looked very vanilla, very like preseason type football. Odd, right? The players were like, it seemed like they just didn't want to be there, right? Just let's get this over with, get back home. And I just felt that way. Like you could tell by the players, the way they were acting, they just weren't having a good time. I'm like, strange. And I said, man, could it be? And I mentioned it, Mike, my co-host at the time, he's like, nah, I doubt it. I'm like, could they be holding back their playbook? Because they know the playoffs, they don't want to show anything. And sure enough, Josh Allen, when I got off our podcast, Josh Allen's like, look, we didn't, we pretty much went out there with a very vanilla type playbook. I mean, pretty much like we don't want to show our cards. So that's why our offense, I felt like was flat, but it's a really risky move considering we're still fighting for the 1 spot. And do you really want to risk it? So I didn't like that by the head coach. If that was the plan, which seems like it was, to just go out there. I almost felt like our coach was like, look, we're good enough just to go out there with the basic ass playbook and beat these guys. We did, but still very close. They got up 14-0. And not only that, if you watch that game, bro, I think we had like 2 drives in the whole first half. They worked the clock the whole first half and we just could not get on the field. And it was bitter cold. It did not go well. But we only gave up 7 points in that second half, and the better team did win. But it was ugly. It was for sure ugly, and it was still a division game. And I'm going to give some credit to the Patriots. I thought May does look good. I will say that. I think May has the tools to be a good quarterback in the NFL. However, I still want to see what he does year 2. Like that's all. I always pass judgment on a quarterback what they do year 2. But so far so good. But you saw today, he made some mistakes. If you put pressure on him, he's a rookie. He's going to make those mistakes. So overall, though, we did what we had to do. We won 24-21. Captain D, what do you think?
Oh man, I mean, I'll admit something looked it was like ordering like a hot fudge sundae and they were like, we're out of hot fudge. You know what I mean? It was like something was missing. It was like, right. It looked very plain Jane, vanilla. And, obviously, like you said, I saw the comments afterwards and I was like, okay, it makes sense now, and there's a method to the madness here because the Bills, I think in the first when was that a couple years ago? The shootout. I think it was in Buffalo or Kansas City. We just talked about this. It was a great game. It was back and forth where the Chiefs.
Come on,
KC versus
13
Rams?
seconds.
Yes, the 13. Yeah,
that was in Kansas City.
That year, like we talked about, I felt like that was the best chance for the Bills to really contend for the Super Bowl, and I think this year as well. And I think they're taking all precautions going into that. And I do believe that the Bills will beat the Chiefs because they are going to meet. The inevitable is going to happen. This is going to be a heavyweight bout coming up. And I'm going to give the notch to the Bills on this one. But I think they're pulling out all the stops. The Patriots are a team that are not they're trying out there. They're out there to compete, but they don't have anything to contend for. They're trying to figure stuff out. So the Bills got it done. It was ugly. It was not fun to watch, but hey, they still got the job done.
Yeah, Anthony, what do you feel about that game, man?
I mean, you looked at this game. You knew it was going to happen. I mean, eventually, the Bills are going to turn around. Did they get down by 2 scores? Or was it 14? Was 7-0?
14-0.
I forget how it went.
No, 14-0.
Yeah. I mean, even looking at that, it was basically like a mirror image of what happened in the first week of the season against Arizona. I never really thought that the Patriots slowed down. I mean, the fact that they only held them 24 points was saying a lot, but you could tell that there was something, going on there. It wasn't the full game plan. It wasn't the same team we saw put up 50 points against the Rams. It wasn't the same team we saw the following week. I forget who they played against. They put up 50 again. It was just a different game overall. Lions. They were playing it safe. Like it wasn't this game plan that we saw week in and week out. But at the end of the day, they're just trying to keep stride, trying to keep up with the Kansas City, who unfortunately did clinch the 1 seed with the win against the Steelers this past weekend or on Christmas Day. They got the 1 seed locked up now. Now it's just a matter of staying healthy and getting ready for the long haul.
Lock up 2 seed. Yeah, we still got the 2 seed that we're trying to lock up. If we beat the Jets, then we do lock the. So Roy. So yeah. So here's the
Houston.
What?
Who's 3? Is it Houston or?
I'm not. Let me see here. I think maybe because they won their division, even though they're terrible. I have to look at the playoffs, but this is what I'm talking about, Roy, and that's why I do believe it was orchestrated by the head coach. I mean, of course, it's the head coach that makes that decision.
We're
the
at a
Ravens
right now where we're still fighting for the 1 seed, but we don't control our own destiny. And as an offense, it's how much are we willing to show? Are we wanting to go extreme and show everything in our arsenal? When there's a line that you got to toe. But at the end of the day, we're just trying to go 1-0 each week and find.
So pretty much, they didn't want to show anything. I mean, and they played. Their plan was to play a very preseason type football game, vanilla playbook, and they felt they could beat the Patriots without that. Listen, they had starters out that they probably could have played on the defense side. They held them out. And I understand that, but at the same time, man, you're risking it there when we still had the shot at the 1 seed. So you're telling me you couldn't show what you showed a little bit early in the season? Something you had to go totally vanilla. I don't like it. I do not like it. The Ravens are the 3 seed. Yeah, but if we lose 2 and they lose and they win, they could potentially take the second.
Yeah, so. They're 11-5. You guys are 12-3.
Right, and they have the tiebreaker. So if we lose the next 2 and they win out, then yeah, they could potentially take that 2 seed. So I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, chances are slim. But not only that, it's like if we don't beat the Jets, then we have to play our starters week 18. You don't really want to do that. You know what I mean? On the road in New England, you just want to get that over with so you can rest your starters week 18. You can see Mike White, and I'm sure Anthony's going to be watching that game. His favorite quarterback ever in a Jets uniform. So I want to watch that.
Hall of Famer Mike White.
Yeah, man. So I got to get
his
it
jersey
over
in Canton.
Yeah. Let's see, Beth. We better not lose at all. So, yeah. Next week it don't matter, Beth. Honestly, because if we win this week, it's a wrap. We got the 2 seed. Who cares? Like, I really could care less if we lose to the Patriots or not. Week 18 means nothing. It's a meaningless game, especially if the starter's going to be out. I mean, it's in New England. You never know. And I don't trust Trubisky, and he would probably get the first half, and he's terrible. So, Darnell, what concerns me is McDermott never has the Bills defense playing Super Bowl championship level in the playoffs when it matters. Shaking my head. Yeah, and that's my biggest concern about my team. Biggest concern is the defense. We are like 20th ranked. It's not good. You got a defensive head coach. Your defense should be better. I get there's injuries, but there's injuries to every team. We're good at turning the ball over. But so what? You see when we go against better offenses, we struggle. And when you go into playoffs, you're going to go against better offenses. So, listen, the only way we get reach to a Super Bowl, in my opinion, is that offense has to pretty much be perfect. And Josh Allen pretty much has to be Superman throughout the playoffs. It's the only way, because we're going to have to win shootouts. It's pretty much going to have to go like the Lions game. And that's how I see it, where if the defense could just do enough in the beginning where the offense can just come out the gate, it's like on fire, give you a little cushion, and I think we can win a game like that, where it's, okay, we got a little cushion, like a 10 or 14-point lead, and then they score, we score, they score, and then they're always playing catch up. Okay, I think we can manage that. I think our offense can go through a game like that, but it's risky, but I think there's no other way. I do not see this defense stepping up if the offense has a slow start or has a bad day. Like, I just don't see that happening. Not this team. I think we have good players, but I also don't like McDermott's scheme. I think his soft zone is garbage. I hate it. And we do it all the time. We get up on a team, we start playing soft zone. I hate it. We did it against Detroit, right? We started off aggressive, and then we went soft zone. We got a little cushion, and then they scored quick, because we're giving them all this space just to go down the field, up and down the field, up and down. And but that's McDermott. I don't know what to tell you guys there. It's his scheme. It's his defense, and his defense has let us down pretty much every playoffs. I would say there was 2 games that it was a team letdown. The Cincinnati game in Buffalo, I thought that was a total team failure. And I would say the first Chiefs AFC Championship game in 2020, that was just a team failure. Everybody failed. But other than that, the defense has collapsed. The 13 seconds was a total disaster. The Houston Texans game was a disaster. We have one of the worst third down defenses in the league. Yep. Thanks, McDermott. Anyways, let's get off, because I'll go on a whole rant about McDermott. Let's get to the awards. All right. So let's start with let's go with the Dolphins game. So go ahead. Who is your boo this man this week? Captain D. Who do you got?
Boo this man.
I think I have to go with Javon Holland, just based off of the comments that he made after the game. I mean, the fact that you came out and said that this is the toughest and the hardest you've played in a while, and even your body's feeling it. I mean, this is crazy to make those comments. And quite frankly, other than the first game of the season where Javon punched out that ball when Etienne was about to take it in for a touchdown and probably lead the Jaguars to a Week 1 win, Javon hasn't really done much. So, and granted, he's been playing hurt and stuff like that. So hats off to him for doing that. But I'm going to give Javon Holland the boo this man based off of his comments, based off the comments that he made after the game.
All right, Anthony, who you got, man? Who you booing in your Jets game?
Oh man, I feel like I booed everyone, but let me think. I'm gonna go a little different route here. I know, like, obviously you lose 19-9. There's plenty of areas you can go, but Jets have a chance. Get the ball back after forcing the Rams to go 3 and out late in the game, and friggin' Xavier Gibson muffs the punt and just never get the touch the ball again. Xavier Gibson, I don't know if there's been a player in the NFL to have an extended career based off of one play. That punt return touchdown in the opening week last week against the Bills. He's not a good punt returner. He doesn't provide enough electricity. Doesn't do enough to kind of gain that positive field position battle that you're trying to gain from a punt returner. But for whatever reason, that one play has given him almost 2 years of job stability. At some point, and the must punts has been a problem for him in the past, and it's kind of creeped its ugly head again. I just think at this point, I see an 0481. Thank you for Codrington. He was outstanding in the preseason.
Yeah, he's good. I like him.
I don't understand what the hell they were doing, letting him walk out. It's unfortunate. I don't know that he's on the roster next year, at least not with a legitimate secondary option to push him a little bit. I'll go boo this man with him. You can't muff a punt. 2 minutes left in the game. I'm trying to get the ball back.
All right. Going off Spin's comment, our special teams coach, Smiley, he's terrible. But I'm going to say the whole coaching staff for the Buffalo Bills, because that was a shit show, right? Like, you have to. If you that was your game plan, to come out vanilla on offense, and the defense was fucking shit in the first half. Now, I'll say they turned it up in the second half, but it was still shit. I mean, so yeah, I'll say the whole coaching staff was just not very good, starting with McDermott, the Smiley. By the way, too, crazy, again, another blunder from Smiley, our stupid special teams coach. So the week before, we didn't have enough men on the field for the block punt against the Rams. We had 9 players. And then this week against the Patriots, they went for it, and we didn't have enough guys on the field again, or something like that. Something crazy like what is going on here, man? How do you not have your team ready, your special teams unit out there? It's just crazy to me. But yeah, I'll just boo the whole damn coaching staff. Terrible performance. I think they also just wanted to get the hell out of there. So with a win, I guess. But either way, boo this man, coaching staff. So let's get to the styling and profiling. All right, Captain D, who you got?
Real quick, I have to disagree with you on this, because if you don't know, now you know that me and Tommy used to run the streets in Broward County playing basketball. Man. And sometimes we were playing basketball and you're playing full court 5-on-5, and you might play against a team that you know that you're familiar with that is not the best players on that team. So you might kick back a little bit. You might not
fool around, think it's all
jokes.
Just
fucking around a little bit, and guess what? Lo and behold, you pull off the win. So I kind of feel like that's the direction that the Bills are going with this game. A lot of players sat on the defensive side, but I'm like,
oh, for sure.
Maybe they were just like, listen, calm down. Let's make sure that we're the bigger picture Super Bowl here, guys. So it's going to be ugly. We can get enough to get it done. So I'll leave it at that. And Tommy, you know that. We've played some people before in real life.
Oh, yeah. 100%. 100%. You overlook them. Before you know it, they hit a couple threes and you're down.
That is the bad point about doing that. But
yeah,
back to my styling and profiling. Dolphins fans, if there's any on here, you're going to say, Captain D, what do you think? It's got to be Kader Kohu. He came up with the game-sealing interception at the end. Who is it? It's got to be Achane. He broke one loose for that meaningless touchdown at the end. But no, I've been calling this name out the whole time. It's Zach fucking Sealer. This guy grinds it out every game. You see him working in the trenches, getting disruptions, pressure, sacks. It's Zach Sealer. If I had a goddamn cowboy hat, I'll put it on right now if he's Zach Sealer. There you go. You get the styling and profiling from me.
What up, Chris? I don't hate the Bills coach staff. I said for this game, remember, these awards are for the game. They're not for the year or anything like that. So I'm booing. We do boo this man, and we do style and profiling, like who the best player, who the worst player was of the game. So I'm just saying, I'm pointing out I thought our coaching staff just did not get our players ready, or just had a poor game plan, a poor judgment, I guess, going in against a divisional game, a divisional opponent, when you know the 1 seed was still available at that time, and you do need to pick up a win there, and you're really risking it when you do that. That's the only reason I'm saying. And then Smiley, of course, the second week in a row where our special teams unit has played like shit. And really, it's been all year. It's not just second time in a row. It's our special teams is a problem. It's been a problem. So he's on my shit list the whole year. I just do not like the guy. So, yeah. So it's not, listen, they've done a fine job. Obviously, I get our record is a good one. Like, I'm not complaining totally. But at the same time, I'm not a big fan of McDermott. I respect what he's done here as a head coach, but I am super concerned that he is not going to be able to get the job done when it counts the most. That's the playoffs. He's year 8 in, and I think it's a valid question. Listen, I always tell you guys, man, there's been sports, and throughout sports history, there's been coaches in college football and college basketball and NFL and baseball that fans love, like certain coaches. They've been there for 10, 15 years, but they don't have championships, but they are a good coach. They get, winning record each season, but they don't have any rings. They don't have any championships. And the fans are like, why are you going to let, Skipper go? Well, fucking Skipper hasn't won a champion. What are we doing this for? We're not just doing it to be good. You're doing it to be great. Like, eventually you want a trophy. You want a ring. You have to move on. So I get it. I understand, like, why people are so, like, man, but we're good every year. We're 12 and they're playoffs. Like, bro, but you got to remember, you have a quarterback in Josh Allen who is, let's be honest, it's Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, everybody else. Okay. He is unbelievable. Those guys don't only last so long, guys. Their prime it only goes so long, right? You only have so much time. Are you willing to risk it by waiting for a guy to figure it out, or you have to move on? Because I feel like honestly, guys, any coach can come in for the most part and get this team to a playoff with Josh Allen. I'm saying, as a quarterback, you can win games with Josh Allen regardless of who you are. So
do you think that's even realistic, though? Like, do you think that's even
honestly, yes, I do, because 100%.
I'm not saying you think they should. I'm saying, do you think that's actually a legitimate, like, conversation point at the Bills headquarters, like, to actually think?
No, they are never getting rid of McDermott.
Well, yeah,
that's a problem.
More kind of leaning towards.
No, that's never going to happen. So
they're in that situation.
That's my problem. That's my problem. So can we win with McDermott? Yes, but as I said about 10 minutes ago, it's going to take this offense and Josh Allen to win us the Super Bowl. Not Sean. It's not going to be because Sean McDermott all of a sudden got his defense to play at a high level, right? It's not because of that. When players come to Buffalo, do you ever hear a player go, "Man, I came to play for Sean McDermott"? No. Even defensive players go, "I came to play with Josh Allen." Von Miller came here and said, "Came to play with Josh Allen." Came to play for Josh Allen. What? He's not our head coach. What? So I'm just telling you, like, players don't come to Buffalo because of Sean McDermott. Get it right, guys. I'm just being honest with you. Now, once again, can we win with Sean McDermott? Yes.
It reminds me of those years with the Colts with Tony Dungy, all those years where it's like a similar situation at Peyton Manning, but they just, like, kind of wasted him year in, year out until that one year that Tony Dungy finally, like, had, like, a legitimate defense playing behind him with Bob Sanders and stuff like that. And really got that defense going that year.
Look at the Bengals coach that was there forever. Got them always to the playoffs. And could not get to Marvin Lewis. So, by the way, I do got a bet going with the chat because they are big time McDermott fanboys. A lot of my people here in the chat. Until we lose and get knocked out of the playoffs, these Sam fanboys, for the most part, they turn on McDermott. They hate McDermott. It's just funny to me. However, if we win the Super Bowl, I told them, when we win a Super Bowl, if McDermott's the head coach, I will get "I love McDermott" tattoo, 100%. And who cares? Why would I care? We won the fucking Super Bowl. Sure. I love McDermott. I have no problem doing it. It's a win for me. So whatever. Von came. Yeah, well, that's true, Roy. Great point, Roy. Go ahead.
Tommy, I've talked to you how I'm very, you can put me on the list too. And this is coming from a Dolphins fan. I love McDermott. I think he's a great head coach. I like
yes, he's good.
All jokes aside, hear me pumping my fist, but you have to remember here what name is not being brought up into this equation. That's Patrick Mahomes. That's the name that's not being brought up here. I mean, this guy is going to go down.
Yes, but you also have to go ahead and put Josh Allen with the Kansas City Chiefs and Andy Reid. You don't think they're winning Super Bowls with Josh Allen?
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real.
Point, yeah.
Okay. So listen, I like Patrick Mahomes, and I just told you, I feel like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and it's everybody else, right? Like they are the top. They are the top dogs. But what does Patrick Mahomes have that Josh Allen doesn't have? He is one of the best fucking head coaches, offensive-minded head coach in the NFL. Andy fucking Reid.
Drafted well on defense, too.
And they have a defensive coordinator who is a fucking really good defense coordinator. They also got Chris Jones, who's one of the best, right? So, listen, I'm just saying, I get where you're going with that, and I understand the Chiefs have beaten. They are the top dog, but Patrick Mahomes fell into a perfect situation with the perfect head coach that knows how to call a game, and he doesn't melt away in big moments. You know what I mean? He has like ice in his veins, you know? Dude, it's just like he's cold, man. So yeah, dude, like I'm just saying, McDermott's a good coach. I honestly, guys, I would prefer an offensive-minded head coach for this team. You go and you find yourself a good defensive coordinator, and that's how you win. That, at least for me, that's how I see it. But we'll see, man. All I'm gonna say is this: if we win a Super Bowl, it's not gonna be because of Sean McDermott. It's gonna be because the offense and Josh Allen went in fucking insane, and we won a fucking close game. That's how we're gonna win. There's no way our defense is gonna just click out of the blue and be fucking dynamic. I just do not see that. So that's how I see it. The Chiefs have not scored 30 points all year. No one talks about how good their defense is, and it's carried. Yes, Ariola. I totally agree. And that's a great point. But I will say this to counter that. When the offense needs to do something, close games, guess what? They make it happen.
Yep.
All the time. Go to every game that you talk about that's been close. The offense usually has to go down and make an important play, a more important touchdown, get it for. They always do it. Always. For the most part, you cannot give Mahomes time on the clock in a close game, or you are fucked. Like, I don't care how bad their offense is, or not bad, but I don't care how low scoring they've been this year for the Chiefs. Like, you can't give them any time, and they've proven that every year. I mean, look at the Super Bowl. Got the ball, went down, scored a touchdown. That was it. That's it. Game over. San Francisco could not. What'd they do? Put up 3? Not good enough. Not good enough. Chiefs went down, scored a touchdown, game over, Super Bowl. Just like that. And yeah, the defense carried them all the way to Super Bowl. But who won them the game? Fuck Kansas City Chiefs. So I'm just telling you, man.
They got like lucky from the aspect of having like Andy Reid, and then like after the horrible stint that Steve Spagnuolo had with, I believe, the Rams. I mean, they got him. He was ripe. He won Super Bowls as defensive coordinator, and he's been doing it again here with the Chiefs. And I mean, at some point, he's going to get coaching options again. But
absolutely,
that situation with the Rams was so terrible that they got that benefit of years and years to work with this guy and have him build that defense the way he wants.
Yeah. Once again, man, like I said, man, guys, the realistic way to a Super Bowl is the offense has to be perfect. And that's how I see it. So, anyways, did you do your style and profiling, Anthony, or no? Did you?
I haven't.
I don't think so.
No,
who is it? Is it your assistant coach? One of your coaching?
Oh my God.
Style and profiling?
This is such a weird game because nobody sucked ass and nobody was awesome either. Fuck.
I didn't even look at your stats. What were your stats like?
I would say a defense probably, but they gave 130 yards rushing or some shit like that to Williams. I'm not sold on that. I mean, God, I can't give it to. I'll give it to the punter. He got a full day's rest. He didn't have to see the field the whole game.
That's a good one. Yeah,
didn't have to go on the field. He just sitting back, relaxing, watching the whole fucking massacre go on right in front of his face. Didn't have to step off the bench.
Okay. I'm gonna go with James Cook. Once again, though, I don't know why we went away from the run. Odd. He was working in the beginning, and then we just went away from it. 9 carries, 100 yards. In that game, he had a really good game, and we went away from it. We didn't use him in the passing game either. I don't know what the fuck that was that we put out there against the Patriots, but it was bad. But I'll give it to James Cook. 9 carries, over 100 yards, and 2 touchdowns, actually. Had a touchdown on the ground, a touchdown in the air. So got to give him his dues. He was really only reason why we won that game, to be honest with you. So James Cook, style and profiling. All right, let's get to next week's games. We already know about the Chargers, Patriots. That was a disaster. Oh, man, that was bad. I'll go through the box score real quick. Drake May, 12 of 22, 117, 1 touchdown. Not his best performance. He actually got hurt, came back. It was like a concussion, but I guess it wasn't bad enough to keep him off the field. Herbert played really good, 26, 38, 281, 3 touchdowns. I got to say, though, guy for McConkey, man, he is good, bro. That dude is a good receiver at rookie. But anyways, the Patriots, they're terrible. They lose again. That gets them to what? 3-13 on the season, or 3-14 on the season. 3-13. Ugh, yuck. So that's that game. So let's get to the Dolphins Browns. All right, Captain D, Dolphins Browns. What do you see? We already know Tua's out. Who else is out?
Man, I'm more than likely Jalen Waddle's probably going to be out too. Obviously, we've shut down Bradley Chubb for the year. Man, I mean, flip a coin. This is going to be a bad game. I didn't see what the weather's going to be like, but it's also a toss-up between who's going to start the quarterback for the Browns. But I'm going to go the Browns. If Snoop Huntley starts, and Myles Garrett is playing, I'm going the Browns on this. Until the Dolphins prove me wrong playing in the cold
what's your
weather.
score? What's your prediction?
Super ugly. I'm going to say this is going to be 17-6 Browns.
Damn. Okay, Anthony, how do you see this game unfolding?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same ballpark there. I mean, without Tua playing quarterback, there's a big drop-off there. We all understand that. Browns, I mean, they're one of those teams, like, if they can get it rolling, they can get it rolling well, especially with Jameis back there. Is he playing, though? Is Jameis playing this week again?
No, Jameis, they benched him for DTR, and he was terrible last week. That's why I thought man, I don't know. It's a toss-up.
Now I'm thinking about, I mean, if Jameis was playing, I think that this is a win for the Browns with ease, but I don't know what to expect out of DTR. You know, I mean, I know we've seen him snips and pieces here in the preseason and last week a little bit too. I'm still going to lean Cleveland. I think that defense, when they play well, I mean, they can kind of keep things under control.
Okay.
I was kind of leaning 20 to
3-12.
10, somewhere around there. I go 20.
They're so bad, bro. They're so bad. It's what's throwing me off, man. I mean, they're awful. They're so bad, bro. So here's what I had. Like, I said it a couple weeks ago. I've been saying I thought the Dolphins
for me with Cleveland. I mean, they can run the football pretty well.
But Cleveland's so weird to me. Like, the reason, so like a couple weeks ago, I said I felt like the Dolphins were going to lose their last 2 games, or one or two of the last games, right? They're either going to lose against the Browns or the Jets, or even potentially lose them both, because they're at Cleveland and at New Jersey, playing the New Jersey Jets. But both cold weather.
New York City, man. New York City is what it's about.
both cold weather.
Can't play Toronto Bills every week.
We're not in Toronto. Good try. But anyways, listen.
Park.
Here's why I'm torn, because Jameis Winston was my wild card for this game, like going into it. And I said, man, you know what? Like, because I didn't know that, I didn't know they even benched him last week. What Jameis were you going to get, right? If the good Jameis comes out, I felt like the Browns could win that game. And the Browns defense is pretty good. I mean, Myles Garrett is a beast, right? He can get to you. But then no Jameis Winston. I'm like, okay, now the Dolphins have it, right? For sure. But now no Tua. So I have no idea. Bro, I am so torn. I have no idea. Honestly, it's Snoop versus DTR. Jesus, bro. I think go either way, honestly. I'm gonna pick.
Is there record in cold weather?
It's gonna be an ugly game. It's gonna be a really low scoring game, because every time I've seen the Dolphins without Tua, it's been low scoring, but their defense has kind of kept them in some of these games. And Cleveland, obviously, their offense stinks. Oh, man. Okay, I'm gonna go 16-13 Dolphins. But it could go either way. It really can. This is going to be an ugly fucking game, dude. Like, offensively, it's going to be a shit show out there. It really is. And it could come down to turnovers. Like, if Cleveland, gets a couple turnovers, they could potentially win the, maybe the turnover battle. I don't know. Maybe a defensive touchdown could seal it. It's a tough one. Honestly, if you're a betting man, I have no idea where you go on that game. I would play the under. I would play the under on the points.
Yeah,
that for sure. Yep.
That's all you can do.
All right. So let's get to the last game, which is the Jets and Bills. Captain D, how you see this game going?
Mm-hmm. I see this game. I think the Bills are going to try and come out as strong as possible. End this quick and early, and Josh is sitting possibly at halftime, maybe the third quarter. Is this in New Jersey, or is it in?
It's in Buffalo.
It's in Buffalo.
The real New York team. Sorry. The only New York team. Yeah.
Right on the border of Canada.
Yeah, this is going to be a rough one for the Jets. It's going to be a quick and easy, and then Mitchell Trubisky's coming in at halftime, maybe mid third quarter.
Damn, we're going to see Trubisky? Oh, man.
Yep.
Oh, that's bad.
Final score is going to be Bills. I'm going to roll with Bills 24, Jets 10.
24-10. Okay, Anthony, come on now. What do you got?
Man, it's like Jekyll and Hyde Jets. Who's going to come out? The defense, the offense, or neither, or both? I mean, it's just going to be.
Who's missing, by the way? Who's not playing? Sauce isn't playing, right? I think Sauce is ruled out, from what I heard.
Anybody's officially been ruled out. I know Sauce was listed as questionable.
Okay.
Pull out the injury report right now, but I mean, at this point,
Earlier says no bitchki. It really seemed like what? Jeez.
Pull out the injury report.
But you could potentially be missing some starters, basically. Some key players.
I don't think anybody's been ruled out. I'm looking here for the Jets. Everyone's listed as questionable or better.
Questionable. Okay.
Questionable.
Okay. Right.
Everyone's participated to some capacity for the week, so tells me that probably gonna have a full roster of everyone that's available.
Okay.
So I don't think injury is going to be an issue as far as the Jets are concerned. Whether they go into complete games is another story. Yeah, I mean, obviously I have the Jets losing, but by what score? The defense played well last week, but I just don't see that continuing here against the Bills unless they go out with the same kind of shitty game plan they had against the Patriots last week. Even then, so I mean, I don't know.
Trust me.
I don't know. I think again, like looking at like what I just said with the Dolphins game, you really look at the Jets' weakness is like the run up the middle. You know, Bills have shown all season long the ability to run it effectively with James Cook. I think that's an area you kind of lean on in this game. Obviously, they can chuck it down the field wherever they like as well, but Jets secondary has been as bad as Jets defense has looked. Still not terrible. It's just been that run up the middle. It's been kind of their Achilles heel for most of the season. And the issue with that is if the Bills can run the football, then you're kind of in shithole there with their ability to also work off play action. I'm gonna go 30-17. I could even be worse than that, but I'm trying to be nice.
Yeah, you know, I think it's funny because I think that's what I actually had a 30-17.
That's a good score prediction right there.
Yeah, so I mean, my score prediction is the same, 30-17. God, but you're right. I mean, what do we throw out there? I would assume McDermott like learned his lesson from last week in division games, and we're fighting for the number 2 spot. Like, you can't just go out there with some bland ass offense, vanilla type offense. Like, you got to show something. I know you don't want to, but you have to, and win this game because you do not want your starters playing in week 18. So I'll go 30-17, like I said. But man, like, who knows? I know it's going to be raining a little bit. I would assume we're probably going to run the ball a lot. But who knows? I thought we were going to run the ball last week. We didn't. So I don't know. I honestly have no idea, but I know we're going to win regardless. I'm pretty sure we come off with the victory in Buffalo. So I'll stick with my guns, 30-17. And that's it, man. So, guys, we got one more show to go for the season. And that is next weekend, same time, same place here in Mafia Sports Report, 4:00. I'm hoping to have everybody on to send recap the season and thank everybody for watching us all year and all that good stuff. So as you guys know, Zach is not returning next year because he's going to college. Good for him. Anthony, real quick too, guys, everybody, I was leaning towards not returning next year, but I'm going to return next year. AFC East Shakedown will be back. I just got to find a Patriots content creator, somebody who can come on here and talk about their Patriots. Anthony will return. I believe Curtis will return. Captain D will return as well. So I'm just got to look for a Patriots person. And also too, next year, guys, we probably will start at 12:00. So same day, but on a little earlier. So once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we are out of here. Go Bills. Peace.
Go Jets.
Go Bills.
Go Jets.
Go.
Bye-bye. See, Peter, he's too fast. You gotta tackle me. It's B. You gotta press B. I'm pressing B. He's too fast. Going over here? Going over here now? Never get tired.